Early in the morning.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we are back with an absolutely massive video today. As you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Tupac Shakur, one of the greatest of all time, and personally one of my favorites of all time. I grew up listening to Tupac heavy for years and years and years and years and years. He helped me and shaped me into becoming a better man, if I'm being honest. I know that sounds drastic, but just listening to him gave me purpose. I respect him so much. I don't give a F attitude. His passion, the contents of his music really helped me become a man, as well as the women in my life, you know what I'm saying? So I love Tupac Shakur, and this news is groundbreaking to me. So as you can see from the title, after 27 years, Tupac Shakur's murder has finally been solved. Now I say solved in inverted commas because even though I believe they've arrested the right man, 100%, he was definitely involved in the murder, I believe it goes even higher than the person that they've arrested. Now, I'm not talking about conspiracies like Illuminati and all this, that and the other, and they tried to dead him off because he was changing the world and stuff. Like, I'm not talking about that, even though that may be the case, and I truly believed that when I was growing up. I actually still believed he was alive in Cuba. I was one of them fanatical fans. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who had allegedly put money on his head. There's a lot of different angles to this story, but I'm going to try my best to give you a linear breakdown. Now, I've done a lot of research into this. I will try my hardest to give you a simple breakdown in the best way I can. So anyway, guys, let's get straight into this video. Like the video for me, hit the bell to be notified for me. Please press that subscribe button for me. It's road to 50k. I'd love to get there this year. I doubt I will, so let's aim for 2024. Merchandise is in the description. Let's get straight into this video. Now, guys, as you guys know, Tupac Shakur was gunned down in Las Vegas in 1996 following the Mike Tyson fight. A white car, specifically a Cadillac, pulled up to the lights next to Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight and emptied clips into the car, fired multiple bullets into the car, eventually killing Tupac Shakur and hitting Suge and whatnot. Now, for 27 years, this murder has gone unsolved until now. Someone has finally been arrested for this murder, and he goes by the name of Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefy D. Now, Keefy D is a 60-year-old old school shot caller, aka a gang member, high-ranking leader of the Crips, most likely a killer himself, you understand? And it's important to note that he is a Crip gang member. Now, before I get into the story of what allegedly happened, I'm going to give you some key names. So we've got Keefy D, we've got Orlando Brown, and we've got someone called Zip. Okay, those names are very important in this story. So what allegedly happened on the night of Tupac's death was, after the Mike Tyson fight had finished in Las Vegas, Tupac was feeling himself. He was a bit gassed, right? And he's seen someone who he allegedly doesn't like, or an op, yeah? A rival gang member, a rival set, who goes by the name of Orlando Brown, okay? Orlando Brown is a Crip, right? He is, again, another high-ranking Crip, an alleged shooter, someone who ain't to be messed around with, right? And he is the nephew of Keefy D. So Keefy D, the person who got arrested for the murder, yes, the other day, Orlando Brown is the nephew of Keefy D. So to give you some context, before his death, Tupac was aligning himself with the Blood Gang, right? In America, you've got whole different politics. You've got Bloods, you've got Crips, you've got MS-13, you've got Latino gangs, Latin Kings, and all these things. You're all different gangs. They all kind of beef each other, but they also can be aligned together. Even Crips can even beef Crips, Bloods can beef Bloods, Crips beef Bloods, Crips and Bloods can even be aligned in some sets in Chicago, GDs and BDs and all that stuff. It's a whole gang history in America is very complex, very political. But in this instance, in this context, the Bloods that Tupac was aligning himself with didn't get on with the Crips that Orlando was associated with and affiliated with. Now, there's a whole big argument about whether Tupac was really a gangster or not. You know, yes, he shot 2 police officers who he didn't know were undercover. You know, yes, he's got thug life tattooed on his stomach. Yes, he's been in and out of jail. But his upbringing was also different from your conventional gang member. You know, he wasn't in the streets very young, early, you know what I'm saying? He was educated, he was in dance school and acting schools and all these things, you know, you understand? So a lot of people think he was fake. You know, I don't believe he was fake. I just believe, you know, I think he's been through trauma. His mum was an addict, a panther, all these things. I think he's gone through a mad life, and I think he just felt comfortable around these thugs as he got older, you know what I'm saying? So who knows whether he really was a gang member, but definitely by the time his death came around, he was affiliated heavily with the Bloods, with Suge Knight, Death Row. There's a lot of Bloods in that set. So going back to the Mike Tyson fight, Tupac has seen Orlando Brown at the Mike Tyson fight. And remember, their groups don't get on. So Tupac, he's hyped, he's gassed, Mike Tyson just won. He's seen Orlando Brown and he's set pace. He's punched him up, he's kicked him up. Him and the whole group have rushed him. Him and Suge Knight are stamping on man's head, this, that. Cool, Tupac and Sugar, they've left. They're gonna go to a party, they're gonna go get some girls, they're gonna go drink, whatever, they're gonna go enjoy themselves. In the meantime, Orlando Brown, all injured, battered and bruised, he's fuming. He wants his get back. What? This rapper, this fake gangster's just set it on me, this, that and the other. He's made calls. His uncle, yo, Keefy D, Tupac just rushed man, etc, etc, etc. We need to do something about this. Now this is where the story gets a little bit conspiratory, because this is where Keefy says, listen, I've already been told that there's a bounty on Tupac's head. So let's get this guy. Let's get our get back for you getting beaten up, and let's secure that money from the bounty. Now, where did that information come from? That information came from someone called Zip. Yeah, remember the name that I said a minute ago, Zip, right? Zip is a high-ranking member and, you know, a thug, a gangster from New York, right? What's a New York gangster doing in Vegas and this, that and the other, talking to Keefy D and this, that and the other? Now, it's alleged, again, this is all alleged, from Keefy D himself. So everything I'm saying is coming from Keefy D and his interviews and police interviews and things like that. It's actually alleged that Keefy D got the gun used in the Tupac hit from this person called Zip. And it was Zip that fed this information to Keefy D that there's a bounty on Tupac's head. Now, the person that allegedly put this bounty on Tupac's head of $1 million is P. Diddy. Allegedly. Right? Now, P. Diddy ain't no gangster. Yeah, P. Diddy he's soft. In fact, P. Diddy's fruity, if I'm being honest. But at the time, P. Diddy had a lot of money. There was a lot of friction between East Coast, West Coast. You know, Tupac was talking a lot of crud. So it's not beyond the realms of imagination, or sorry, the realms of reality, to believe that Diddy put a bounty on his head. Hopefully you're all keeping up with me here. Zip has given Keefy D the gun, right? Because Orlando Brown is fuming at what Tupac's done. He's also told Keefy D that there's a bounty on Tupac's head from P. Diddy himself. So Keefy D has said to Orlando Brown, yo, let's get the get back, let's get our money and secure this thing. You know what I'm saying? So they've actually gone to get in a ride, specifically the Cadillac, to search Las Vegas for Tupac Shakur. Eventually, they found him. And the way they found him was very, very sad, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you. Very, very sad. And it always seems to come back to women. There's always some woman involved somehow. And I'm not saying it's women's fault. I'm just saying it always ties into a woman. In this instance, Tupac getting gassed by women got him caught. So what happened is while they're spinning, trying to find Tupac and whatever, they eventually hear women go, oh my God, it's Tupac, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. 2 girls on Las Vegas Strip say, oh my God, it's Tupac, right? Tupac then, like a celebrity he is, he hangs out the window saying, yo, girls, let's come to the club, let's do this, I'll get you in, whatever. And it was that interaction specifically that alerted the ops to his position. So they've spun round and they pulled up next to him. Now what happened next is up for debate. Allegedly, what's happened is they pulled up next to Tupac and Suge, and Orlando Brown in the backseat, yeah, has started firing into Tupac and that. He shot him up and then they've driven off, right? It's alleged that Keefy D was the one that gave him the gun. He had the gun on him and gave it to him in the backseat for him to shoot. Now you're probably wondering, how do we know all this? Like, where's all this information coming from? I'll tell you where this information comes from. We now have to go back in time to 2009. Sorry for this video being all scatty and stuff, but we've got to be in the present, we've got to go past, we've got to go present. It's all a bit jumpy. In 2009, Keefy D got arrested on some very, very, very serious and high-level drug charges that would have put him in jail for 25 to life. Yeah, again, it's madness. 25 to life for drugs, but again, nonsense and stuff. Don't get that. It's madness. But he was about 45 at the time. He would have died in jail most likely from the drug charges. So what he did in 2009, in order to reduce these charges to basically nil, he said, listen, I don't want to go to jail for these drug charges. I will give you some information about the murder of Tupac if you basically let me off this drug thing. So what they've done is the police department have offered him what they call a proffer agreement. Now, a proffer agreement is not, I repeat, is not immunity. Do you understand? A proffer agreement is not immunity. What a proffer agreement is, and I'm going to let someone in a video explain it very shortly, but just to summarize, a proffer agreement is the police department, that specific police department, so in this case, I think it was LAPD specifically, cannot use the information that you've said in this interview against you. So you can sing all you want, you can snitch on yourself, and they can't specifically use that information against you to indict you. They can't. But any other police department can. Any other information they receive about you from other people, they can prosecute you with.
Responding to our questions, We won't use your information against you. We'll use your information to prosecute other people. And if other people provide information that we can use against you, we most certainly will. We just won't use your own self-incriminating statements against you. That's a proffer agreement. And that gives people the liberty to go and talk about their criminal behavior without the fear of turning around and having that used against them. Because then they wouldn't cooperate with law enforcement under most circumstances. What do they have to gain? Well, in Keefe D's situation, he had a lot to gain because he was looking at trying to mitigate these drug charges.
So it's like, this proffer agreement really is a self-snitching diary. Because even though they specifically can't indict you for what you're saying, you can get indicted for the same crime you're talking about just through different means. Does that make sense? So Keefe D believed essentially that he was immune to getting prosecuted for the murder, no matter what he says. That is incorrect. So it all went downhill for Keefe D in 2009 when he spilled the beans on the Tupac murder. And you know how the world is, nothing can remain secret or anonymous forever. Someone in the police department leaked that interview years ago, leaked that very same interview, right? And in that interview, he spills the beans on the murder of what happened that night in Tupac Shakur. And he explains what I just explained to you. His nephew gets beaten up. He talks to this guy called Zip. Zip gives him the gun, tells him there's a bounty on his head. They look for him, you know what I'm saying? He gives the gun to my man. He even claims that he would have shot him himself if it was the right side of the car. He also claims that he tried to shoot, but his accuracy weren't there, so he gave it to Orlando Brown. He really snitched on himself. Yeah, fully. And the thing about a proffer agreement is, even though LAPD or whatever can't indict you on what you said, it puts them on the right path. It tells them where to look. It gives them all the information to then be like, okay, cool, we're going to explore that avenue then, because you're telling us this, this, and this. You're bringing in Zip into it. You're bringing P Diddy into it. You're bringing all this. Like, we're gonna go this avenue then, and then they're gonna feed that information to other police departments and this, that, and the other. It's a mess. The guy is a fool. This guy's meant to be a high-ranking killer, high-ranking gang member, and he snitched on himself and other people basically under the guise of immunity when really it was just a proffer agreement. So guys, hopefully you're not too confused and you're all caught up with the story right now. So because in his mind, Keefe D didn't get prosecuted in 2009 for the Tupac murder, I think he thought he was just gonna get away with it scot-free. Maybe he's broke, maybe his conscience got the better of him, but ever since 2019, he's been doing a little media tour on Vlad TV, different interview platforms, different podcasts, basically talking about it. But not only is he talking about it, he's actually slyly admitted his involvement in it. In the very same vlogs that I was talking about, Vlad TV, he explains that he was in the car, he's written a book about it, he's written a memoir, an autobiography about it. I think it's called something like The Life of a Compton Gangster or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, right? Something about Compton Gangster, Compton Menace, something. The guy wrote a book talking about it. So he got too comfortable because he thought he weren't going to get prosecuted. But all this book writing, all this podcast performing, all this stuff is literally giving the police evidence. Now, in the interview in 2009, and again a bit later down the line as well, he admits that he spoke to P. Diddy. And when Tupac got shot, allegedly, Diddy himself said to either Zip or Keefe, he said, "Was that us? Was that us?" And what he means by that is, did we do that? Was that from the money that we put on his head type shit? That's what he's alluding to. And apparently he said, yes, it was us. But obviously, it wasn't specifically, but it was at the same time. The reality is, if Tupac did not beat up a real gangster in Orlando Brown, he would still be alive today. Because they probably wouldn't have tried to shoot Tupac and get a little money for it. They might have done, but the fact that he beat up Orlando Brown that day prompted them to want to get their get back. They wanted to get revenge. And they used the fact that there was already a bounty on his head to justify it. Cool, let's get our get back, let's get our money. Now, it is possible that he could get away with this potentially, because every single person in that car that night is dead. Yeah, Orlando Brown is dead. The alleged shooter of Tupac Shakur is dead. Yeah, he died a year later in completely unrelated, random circumstances to do with a drug deal gone wrong, and they end up shooting each other and he died. You understand? So the alleged shooter himself, who Keefe D gave the gun to, is dead. The other two people in the car are also dead. So the only person who knows what happened that night is Suge Knight himself, who's still alive in jail, and Keefe D, who's now going to be in jail. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if they get a conviction. So he may be able to get away with it. But the reason he shot himself in the foot is because he's put himself at the crime scene. He's put himself in the vehicle. You understand? And the guy got arrested the other day in Las Vegas. The guy hasn't even moved out the same state and the same city that he murdered him in. This guy's a clown. At least move to the town next door. The guy got arrested. The guy got arrested, yeah, in the same town, the same city that he allegedly did the murdering. Not very smart. Not very smart at all. So the police have obviously been using all the evidence in his interviews recently to compile proof that he is, you know, that he was either the gunman or he gave the gun to the gunman. I actually personally believe he shot the gun. I believe he was a shooter, if not the shooter, if I'm being honest. I think he fired a couple shots from over the driver, but then he would have gave it to Orlando because Orlando was the right side, and then he shot up Tupac, rah, rah, rah. If this was 2023, guys, this case would have been got solved. The internet detectives would have discovered the Cadillac online. They would have cross-referenced it with a picture on Instagram of Orlando Brown, and then they would have seen that Orlando Brown follows Keefe D, who's also a Crip, and then they would have, honestly, internet detectives would have figured this case out in a matter of hours, genuinely. It's just crazy that at the time, technology wasn't as good, people were less willing to talk. They've really been building this case against him for a while. They've been interviewing loads of key witnesses, the women. They've interviewed the women that were there that day. They've interviewed all these different people. But if it wasn't specifically for the Vlad TV interviews, yeah, and all the podcast interviews that he was doing, they would not have been able to open this case properly. This is a prime example of self-snitching at its finest. If you really want to die as a free man, stop wanting clout. Stop wanting to tell your story. Maybe, as I said, maybe the guilt ate him up or something and he just wanted to go telling his story. I don't know. But ultimately, this is a crazy story and it's really sad at the end of the day. It's just a simple get back. Tupac punched on someone. They felt that Tupac wasn't no gangster. He was just a rapper. Real gangsters then lined up to shoot him up, and you know, it's just a shame, man. It's a shame. It's a massive shame, and you know, we lost a massive talent. But yeah, guys, there's so many layers to this story, but I don't want this video to be like 50 years long. But there's just so many different layers to this story, and you should definitely do your research because it's crazy. But I believe they've actually solved this case. I believe after all these years, after 27 years, they have got the right person, and it's just a shame it took so long, and the family really did deserve justice sooner. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to bore you anymore. Hopefully you're not bored, but I'm not going to keep you any more of your Sunday. If you made it this far, can you put 3 music emojis? Any music emoji, a music note, any music note you want. Just 3 emojis to know that you're a real one, to know that you made it this far. Thank you so much, guys. What the hell do I know, man? I'm just a Tupac fan in his 20s. Love, light, and peace. Gang.